The Marquis, hidden among the pillows, might have been running out of air, so Grace hurried to usher the uninvited guests out as quickly as possible. With a mischievous smile, she told the citizens how delighted she was to have been at Greve Square the day before yesterday. The soldiers, already weary of her chatter, frowned and scanned the room with tense glances. But truly, there was no one there. If only they knew how many aristocrats were hiding like this, among the pillows, at the home of the true citizen Grace Elliott, the beloved of the Prince of Wales and later Philippe Égalité. Grace Delruth-Mill was born in the mid-18th century in Edinburgh to a family of lawyers. Her father was quite successful in his practice, but her mother didn't love him, and as soon as the girl learned to walk, her parents divorced. Little Grace was sent to live with her grandmother, and when it was time for her education, she went to France. The Delruth-Mill family had money, so at the age of 16, the young and well-educated lady gained entry into the upper echelons of Edinburgh society. Aristocrats considered it an honor to host a successful lawyer and his daughter. From her very first appearance in society, Grace attracted the attention of men. She was beautiful, could hold a conversation, made witty jokes, and had a warm demeanor. A charismatic and intelligent girl. So when the proposal came from Sir John Eliot, no one was surprised. A wealthy and renowned physician in Britain was bound to notice Miss Delruth-Mill. In October of that same year, they were married. The couple moved from Edinburgh to London, a city that Grace immediately fell passionately in love with. This world was meant for her. Vibrant, fashionable, and intriguing. The young beauty found admirers among the aristocrats, and she began a passionate affair with one of them. Alas, Sirius John Eliot, the personal physician of the Prince of Wales, was not about to become a laughingstock, so he tracked down his unfaithful wife and subsequently filed for divorce. Additionally, for the damage to his reputation, the doctor sued Grace's lover for £12,000 sterling. At just 20 years old, her life seemed over. She was divorced and scandalized. Her family was outraged. Her brother threatened to confine Grace to a French convent. She had no money, and respectable households had closed their doors to her. But in her most desperate moment, Grace Elliott believed in her fate. Lord Cholmondeley appeared at her doorstep. A few months earlier, he had seen the young woman at a masquerade ball and had been unable to forget her. Lord Cholmondeley showered Grace with care, allowing her to enjoy a pleasant and comfortable life. But there was a significant difference in her status. Once she had been the wife of a renowned physician, and now she had become a courtesan. From then on, the beautiful woman could not appear just anywhere. However, she made lively friends, Gertrude Mahone and Kitty Frederick, who, like her, were considered mistresses in London. While the noble ladies turned up their noses at the sight of this beautiful trio, their husbands gladly showered the girls with expensive gifts. Grace's distinguished lover even commissioned a portrait of her from Thomas Gainsborough. There's a theory that it was through this painting that the Prince of Wales first became acquainted with her. The beauty piqued his interest, and just a few months later, they met in person. After that, Grace Elliott became the mistress of the heir to the English throne. Rumors circulated about her life. Some claimed that Grace was simultaneously involved with both the Prince and Lord Cholmondeley, and that the Lord himself invited George, the Prince of Wales, to their home. Regardless, Grace became pregnant, and the girl she bore was named Georgiana Seymour. It seems that even Grace didn't know who her true father was. However, it was Lord Cholmondeley who raised the girl. Soon, another encounter turned Grace Elliott's life upside down. The Prince of Wales introduced her to another prince, the Duke of Orleans. The Frenchman was visiting London and immediately appreciated the charms of his new acquaintance. They became lovers, and when Louis Philippe, Duke of Orleans, left the English capital, Grace followed him. In Paris, the beloved of the French prince had her own apartment and later, a house in Meudon. It was said that Grace generously shared her affections with both the Duke of Orleans and Prince Condé. However, the young woman clarified everything herself by writing her memoirs. Grace's lover supported the revolution and even changed his title to the surname Égalité. However, Grace herself was a staunch royalist and had no intention of changing her beliefs. As a result, whenever she could, she rescued aristocrats and hid them in her home, helping them escape across the Channel to England. One day, a severely wounded Marquis de Champenoud was hiding in Grace's house. When soldiers arrived, the Englishwoman cleverly devised a way to conceal the man among her bedding, and she succeeded brilliantly. This method became one she used repeatedly whenever someone needed urgent hiding from pursuers. She took immense risks, but she accomplished a great deal. She purchased fake passports for nobles, personally smuggled Madame de Perigord and her children to Brittany so they could board a ship. However, Citizen Elliot was eventually arrested. Facing execution, she felt no regret. From the small window of her cell, she gazed at patches of blue sky, imagining she was home in England. Grace was transferred from prison to prison, and in her memoirs, she wrote about meeting Josephine de Beauharnais there. Once again, fortune smiled upon her. One of the revolution's ideologues, Robespierre, was executed. Shortly after, many who had been imprisoned regained their freedom, including Grace Elliot. Upon her release, Grace returned to her former Paris apartment. Over time, she became close to a circle of influential businessmen and politicians, including Josephine de Beauharnais. There's a legend that Napoleon Bonaparte, upon meeting Grace, proposed to her, but the Englishwoman turned him down. Grace Elliot spent the rest of her life in France. She passed away in her home as a wealthy and respected woman. As for the princes who shared her bed, the Prince of Wales became King George IV, while Philippe Égalité met his end on the guillotine in the same year that Citizen Elliot was imprisoned.